This is Bomani Kogin. Please support this channel by subscribing, sharing with your friends and family. Today, I would like to discuss the business of trucking, and I'm talking in the terms of the horse and trailer kind of trucking. In America, they call them tractors, but here people call them horse, which is the horse and trailer. So, because the why I'm specifically pointing out the horse and trailer, because the trucking business for the horses and trailer, which is the tractors and trailers in the American term, is quite different from the rigid, where you use the rigid truck. The horse and trailer business is divided into two: the long distance business and the short distance business. The bulk business, which is the loose cargo, and the containerized cargo. I'd like to point out that this discussion is based on my experience as a truck owner from around 2007 to 2011. That's when I had a truck and I tried my hand in this kind of trucking business. So this is purely based on my experience and what I found out about this business. So I would like to share the experience with you now.
I love trucks, guys.
I would like to point out the people who make the most profit out of this business are those guys who actually do not have a single truck. Most of them are the brokers, or they call them the agencies, the ones who are sourcing the work from the international companies or from whatever connections they have. These are the guys who are making a kill in this business. Now, the people who are owning the trucks, they have to get the scraps from those brokers, because those brokers are the ones who actually understand this business more than anyone else. I would like to point out that in terms of work, in terms of contracts, it's very easy to get a contract in the trucking business. But getting a good contract is very difficult. Are there good contracts? Yes, they are there. But this is where the brokers come in, as I will explain moving on. The big ships are owned by or run by big companies, multinational companies such as Green Road, MSC, just to name a few. So when the ship moves in and docks at the dock, what happens is the series of events that happen is that maybe the ship is going to offload maybe 2,500 containers to about 5,000 containers. They're in touch with clearing agency and shipping agency. They give the documents for each and every container to the clearing agency or shipping agency. And these agencies in turn hand over the documents to smaller agencies. So maybe in one harbor there can be a multiple agencies. They can go up to maybe 60 agencies. So one big shipping agency hand over, or the agency will do both, But for the sake of limiting liability, the bigger guy would rather have a smaller guy between him, which is and the ground. This is how most big business operate. Between them and the ground forces, they always create an agency. This is a way of limiting liability. Even if they had the capacity to do it, they would not take the risk of going down to the ground. So they hand over the work to these agencies. So these agencies or the brokers, so you can see already from the shipping company to the broker, already the documents have moved into two hands. That is from the multinational company to some shipping agency, from shipping agency to the broker. Already it has exchanged two hands there, and between there, deals have been struck and the value have been cut. Everybody's taken their cut now already, right? Now, These brokerage companies now hand over the documents to the trucking companies, right? So that's where the other problems, that's where the trackers come in, and that's where you see the problems that coming in with these agencies. I would like to point out that these most of these agencies or brokers are well established, so you will not have problems with getting paid by them. But here is some of the tricks that you run into, the pitfalls that you run into when you're busy dealing with these agencies. That's where you will discover that you will struggle to make a good profit. Most of these agencies, they will mix their work so that you can just make a profit, and also mix the work, so they mix good work and bad work so that you are able to survive. But they make sure the best work, which is the best containers, like the best work, they keep. What do I mean the best work and the bad work? I'll explain again moving forward. You see, most of these agents are highly experienced in this business. They have been actually maybe truck owners before or whatever the case may be. But the fact of the matter is they are in touch with the ground. They know which container is going exactly where. And they already know maybe this container is going to number 10 Francis Joseph Drive. They know number 10 Francis Joseph, there's a problem there. The gate where the container is supposed to go in is very tight. It's going to take a long time for the driver to really push in the container with his long truck. So it will take you maybe instead of just 10 minutes to pack it will take you almost an hour. You're going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Time is going, your fuel is going, and also you might struggle to meet your mandate for the day, which is offloading in that day. So that for them is a bait container. They will put it aside. They will not do that job. They will give it to a person who they don't favor, right? Another kind of trick that they use is they know this container is going to this area, very mountainous area. So they know this mountain is very steep. So by the time the container, the truck goes up this mountain, hey, it's gonna use a lot of fuel. So it's a bad container again because now your fuel is gonna be chowed, or you're gonna spend a lot of fuel climbing up this mountain. They'll put that aside again. They'll give it to a trucking company that they don't favor, right? Another thing that they can do again is they know that area where you're going, there's a lot of maybe criminal elements there. Yes, then they'll give you again. They'll put aside for that job for a trucking company that they don't favor. Another trick is they know that the place where you are going to deliver, maybe inside this container is loose cargo. So this loose cargo is going to have to be offloaded one by one item at a time. And which means when you get there with your container, you're going to park on this company's premises, and the container is going to be opened, and then the employees of that company going to have to take out the load one by one or whatever the case may be. But they know, they realize this process is going to take a long time. So that again is a negative for them. That can cost you a whole day or two, even sometimes. They'll put it aside. Or they know even a simple matter like on this company where you're going to take a container, there's lazy workers there. These workers, they like to work very slow. When you get there, they're gonna run for lunch, or when you get there, they're gonna, when it's as soon as it's like 4 o'clock, they'll lock the doors and they refuse to work and disappear. And now that means your container is gonna have to sleep there over, and it's gonna be furnished the next day. They also again, it's a bad container for them. They'll pay it for a trucking company that they don't favor. All these things, small little petty things, you believe is petty, but they're a big thing. They impact on the viability of your trucking business. All these kind of negative small things will impact on you also. They give it to the truck incumbents that they don't favor. For instance, most of your cargo maybe is scrap. Maybe they get cargo to containers that must go and collect scrap. So that means your truck must go into the scrapyard. And most of the scrapyards, the floors, like the ground or the whatever, there's a lot of debris there, sharp iron, a lot of stuff that can actually cut your tires. And you end up having to pay for another tire or for services to fix the puncture. They'll put that aside for you to do those kind of jobs. So you find yourself sitting with a lot of work, but which is very hard for you to make a profit. You see, so that's one other thing that the agents use. So this is an example of bad work or bad containers that you can do. Yes. So I'll try to show you the other side. Let's say what are the good containers, so that you can understand which ones are the good containers. So the good containers are those containers that maybe you go to a place and you just drop. Maybe you drop that container, you quickly come back. Or you drop at the company, and the same time you're asked to pick up an empty container there, deliver it to the docks, which means you've done a return trip. You're going to be paid for the return trip. The trick that is here is that the work, the way they quantify the work or the way they charge the work, they charge it according to zones. So the further the zone, the more the money you pay. So these zones they use a certain radius. So they can start maybe with a 5 kilometer radius from pickup point, which is maybe, let's call it, for example, the pickup point where the source of work is the harbor. So they can say the harbor is the central point. So the far you is, maybe the first next zone is 15 kilometer zone, a radius of 15 kilometers. Then the next zone is a radius of maybe 35 kilometers. And then the next zone, a radius of 50 kilometers. And then the next zone is 100 kilometers. So these are like all short distance container delivery and pickup business. Because beyond that, beyond like 200, 300, 400, beyond, let's say, 500 kilometers, I think that qualifies as a long distance business. Beyond 500 kilometers, I think even beyond 300 kilometers, that is long distance. But 300 kilometers within is short distance. It's work that should be done in 1 day or two. The truck goes in the, let's say it's a truck. The truck driver leaves the depot at 4 o'clock in the evening. He arrives at the pickup point at maybe 1 o'clock in the night. He parks, he sleeps there. Early in the morning, they open, they do their business, they load or offload. By afternoon, he's back at the depot, or he's back to pick up more work and do some work during the day. Another example of good work is maybe because you earn through the range that you've done work. So you discover that then you can pick up a container maybe from a depot or from the docks. Then you only deliver at a place that is like less than a kilometer away from the docks. And when you get there, you discover that there's other empty containers that you must put back, pick up, or the filled up containers that you must take back into the ship. So you can be busy doing that kind of work, and you are doing less than 1 kilometer. You get paid the same money as the person who has done 15 kilometers because you are within the same range. So, and then what makes it worse, what even makes it even better is that now you are able to do maybe in a day, maybe everything is going well, maybe 24 containers, which is 12 up and 12 down. And yet alone, the other person who's paying the same rate, who is done 15 kilometers away, maybe it gets to the point, it gets delayed for many other reasons. He only does one container, and probably he do the return one, or 2 more. And the other person has done 24 containers. He has earned 24 times the amount of the other person. So this kind of work you discover those agencies will put that work away and give it to the favored transporter. Hence, since these containers are coming from the same ship, it's like now the other guys are subsidizing the other transport companies, because when the agency or the agency, when they're giving the mandate to deliver containers from the ship, they have to do the whole ship by themselves. So indiscriminate of what, they just quote one quotation for the whole ship. So in other words, there's other people who are earning and others who are subsidizing those who are earning more. I can give a lot of example of good work, but now the whole point is to show how the agencies can actually rob you without even refusing to pay you your money. They actually make sure they pay your money. So there are hardly any cash transaction that happen in this kind of business. The way the agency pay, normally they pay straight into your bank, and normally they use 30-day accounts, 60-day accounts, and sometimes 90-day accounts. The reason is when they get work from the ship themselves, also they must wait for a payment from the ship. And then if there's an agent on top of another agent, then each one is going to have to wait for 30 days. And then if he's getting work from someone else, then it's another 30 days. That makes it 6 days. By the time the work gets to the transporter, it becomes 90 days. So which means if there is an agent of an agency, it becomes more time. You have to wait more time so that you can be able to get paid. So, but normally they work on 6-day accounts and 30-day accounts. That's how they pay. But always they pay because they have to keep up their reputation. Because now you have to do their work up front, and they kind of create a cash flow for themselves. Because you do the work in 60 days time, you have to get paid. Yes. The rest of other pitfalls that comes with the trucking, you have to look out for is your driver. You definitely have to employ someone who's experienced, because a truck needs someone who's experienced, because you're going to incur a lot of costs. A truck is a very, very expensive equipment. Everything on a truck is very expensive, starting with the tires, the brakes, the fuel cost, the batteries. Each one of those things are by far more expensive than a normal vehicle. So you have to have a good driver who don't damage your tires, who don't go around bumping other people's cars and stuff like that. So you need like a very experienced driver. It helps. But at the same time, a highly experienced driver comes with a high cost. But in any case, I think it pays to employ a highly experienced driver, because the way a truck operates, it needs someone who's dedicated, who's committed. A truck driver is not just a truck driver, he's a truck manager. He has to have sleepless nights. He has to keep his mind on the truck, on the trucking business. He himself must be passionate about trucking himself. So you need a person like that. Yes, the other pitfalls, like whereby drivers are fuel theft, things like that, even battery thefts. But those are the things that come with the way you recruit your employees. Yes. But these other factors that might because trucks are very expensive to maintain and to insure. The insurance is very high, so you might be tempted to take up very cheap insurance, and only to find out later that it's fake. There's a lot of fake insurance companies that are also operating within this environment. So because a truck is very expensive to insure. Yeah. So the other thing that, or how also the agents make money, is by renting out trailers. So the most common agent's fee is between 15% of that. They call it brokerage fee. This is the most common fee, and I think that is like universally accepted. A brokerage fee normally is 15% of the work they've given you. They have to take the money 15%. Sometimes, if they hire out a trailer for you, you've got a choice to rent it per month or rent it for per job. So it depends how you look at it. So also, if you're renting it at per job, is 15%. So you discover that you're going to pay 15% brokerage fee, 15% for hiring the trailer, which is like 30% of the amount of work that you've done. So let's say you've done 100,000 rands worth of work. So that means you're going to take away 30,000 rands for brokerage fee and using their trailer. So it helps also to have your own kind of trailer, but the capital cost of buying a trailer and buying also the truck are very high. You know, normally is you do short distance trailers, short distance business, you can go get away with using a slightly older truck. But these are the pitfalls that come with the agents. The biggest pitfall I found is that it's the agency. They know how just to purify money out of your pocket and make your business not so profitable, because they will take most of the money. They'll sit there and sit with all the money, and you will be doing most of the work and you get very little. So the way they will keep you trapped in the business, they will just make sure they mix the work in such a way that you just float. So that's the thing that I found there. I'm gonna do another video. You can follow me up on Bomani Kogan channel. In this video, I'll discuss how to start up this business and the type of trucks that are needed for which specific kind of work, the make of the trucks and all this. I will have to discuss which are the best trucks in terms of the make and model. This is Bomani Kogan. Give the video a thumbs up. Share with your friends and family. Thank you.